the V6 S197. Over 10 episodes on Power TV, the V6 Mustang you see here is going to be transformed in looks, handling, power, and performance.
It's Project New Takeoff here in the Power TV garage. Last episode, we installed the GT body kit, and this V6 Mustang is starting to look really sweet. But now, we got to prepare for the power. The first thing we need to do is tear out this wimpy 7.5 rear end and install this 8.8 from New Takeoff. The cool thing about ordering from them is you can order your rear ends with upgraded gears. We went with the 373s, which are good for most street strip applications. So let's get this baby up on a lift and tear that 7.5 out.
Once we got our V6 Mustang up in the air, we got a good look at the weak 7.5-inch rear end. This rear end is fine for a stock engine, but for any type of serious performance, an 8.8 rear is a mandatory upgrade.
To begin with, we'll want to remove the road wheels and take them off of the vehicle. This exposes the brake system to us. That will be our first component that we're actually removing from the rear end. We will then be removing the calipers from the rotors. This is a very easy thing to do. We do not want to break into the hydraulic system, so what we're going to do is remove it from the rotor and tie it up by means of wire or a zip tie to the chassis so that it does not hang by the rubber hose.
Removal of the 7.5 was easy. With the brakes out of the way, BJ unbolted the factory 3-link and panhard bar and lowered the rear end out of the car. The bend pack lift in the Power TV garage made things easier, but you can do this at home. Here we laid out the stock Ford 7.5 and the New Takeoff 8.8 rear end. The rear end housings themselves have the same mounting attachment points for a 2005 and up Mustang, so they're a direct bolt-in swap. The 8.8 rear end uses a larger ring gear, differential, and center section than the 7.5 rear. These larger components allow the 8.8 to transfer more horsepower, torque, and to take more shock loads than the stock rear end in the V6. The 8.8 rear end had a larger drive flange than the stock rear end. NewTakeoff.com provided the correct size flange, and BJ replaced it in no time. Installation of the 8.8 is as easy as removing the 7.5. BJ used our transmission jack to hoist it to the chassis and attach the suspension components, which took no longer than an hour. The stock control arms and panhard bar were installed in the same exact locations as the stock rear end. Brakes were next. The stock discs found a home on the 8.8, and then we reattached the brake calipers, which we never actually removed, but we had hung up so we didn't have to re-bleed the system. We put the parking brake cable on the brakes and then bolted the springs and shocks into the rear end. And then it was time to put the old V6 wheels and tires on. These will only be around for one more segment of this project, and then it's time for some larger meets. Once the entire 8.8 was in, it looked like it came from Ford in place. With the help of NewTakeoff.com, our V6 Mustang driveline can now take some serious power.
As with any install, the best part is actually going out and test driving and make sure the work that you've done is exactly what you expected. So for this rear end upgrade, and I'm really looking forward to it, because this rear end should give us quite a different feel insofar as responsiveness. We're getting both tires down on the pavement. Feels very quick to grab. Hooks up nicely. Now we're going to give it a little goose around the corner. Try not to spin the tires. Oh yeah, she grabs great.
So before you think about putting gears in your 7.5 rear end, be sure to check out NewTakeoff.com and see what they have to offer. Now this baby's ready for our Explorer Express X-Charger Supercharger, which we'll be installing next episode, so stay tuned on Power TV.